Okay. So yeah, ask any questions you guys want to ask. Atheism has no basis in morals. We do have morals. We have an entire life we can live as an atheist. There's nothing you Christians or Muslims can do that I can't do. If not, we can do better. How do I convince illogical people to be vegan? Um, it's not. See, I don't debate people on veganism because I think that the logic is going to get them. I debate veganism because the logic is supposed to pinch them a little bit, make them go, wait a minute, this guy has a point. And then it's the emotional side of it, the empathetic side of us that changes, that drives us to change. Humans make choices based on emotions. So if you can capture somebody's emotions, that will change. So yes, show them footage of factory farms and bring this, make it real to them, make it a real thing for them. The logical arguments I make, they're just fluff, right? The main thing is, who are you as a person? Are you really okay with sleeping at night knowing that you're causing suffering and immense amounts of harm? And that's what makes you vegan. It's not the logic. That's a part of it. Are you saying that religion's bad for the world? On its own, no. Religion's not bad. But people can use it for bad. If you can travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? I don't know. Do you believe life comes from non-life? Well, life is what non-life does. Life is a process that happens to our bodies and our cells. It's the emergent phenomenon. And did you watch the Dinesh debate? No. It's so boring. I'm so bored of that stuff now. The Bible, it's just so boring. I'm just over it. I hate talking about the Bible. It's so boring. Do I want kids? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I do want kids, but then there's part of me that's like, I don't know. It might be hard on my spouse if they don't want it. Do I know the secrets of the universe? Don't do it. Don't spare them the suffering. What do you mean? From me? I would never make my kids suffer. What do you think happens after we die? I think your body decays and rots away. And then we perish and we never are remembered or heard of again. That's it. You're erased from history. Eventually, the universe itself decays into nothing. We just are. And I don't worry about what happens after I die. I don't. I don't care about that. Because I'm so focused on the now life. I don't worry about the after. Right? That's irrelevant to me. You know? And because of this, I cherish every minute I get in this world. I cherish every second. And I'm just extremely happy as a person. I really am a really peaceful, happy person because of my lack of belief in God, you know? Because I just don't pay attention. Just don't, it sucks up too much time and energy, you know? Are we from monkeys? No, we're not. We are not from monkeys of today. We share common ancestors with the monkeys of today about 20 million years ago. Now, if you don't know what that means, I can't help you, right? You have to understand what evolution means. It takes a bit of understanding, right? Do I believe we started from evolution? Evolution is not a start; it's a process. So, in terms of biology, all it means is a chemical change in your DNA. That's all it really means. Is there enough changes in your DNA that would render you a different species? That's all evolution means. Um, so yeah, it's happening all the time. It doesn't start or stop. It is something that molecules do. Hmm. If God turned out to be real, would you still despise him? I don't despise anybody. uh, but if God existed, I would be the same person I am now. I would never change. I'll be still skeptical. I'll still be skeptical. I'll still be me. I'll still ask the same questions. I'll be asking the same questions I asked you guys to God if he exists. And that's one of the most amazing things about being an atheist. It's just one of the most honest positions you can have. It really is a very honest position. I can't believe how many haters there are in the comments. It's amazing. And I understand the sad part about that is I understand your hate. I understand your hate. But it's so naive. It's so naive. Hey Torn, how are you? Moon landing? Yes, we landed on the moon. That's obvious. Why do photons not have mass? We don't know. These are questions we don't have the answers to. How did life begin? Look, when we ask this question, people don't know what life means, right? Life is a process. It's what molecules do. Right? So all you need for life is certain molecules performing certain actions, and that happens because of things like amino acids, amyloids, proteins, RNA, these molecules that can do certain fancy things. That's why we're alive. Primordial soup is nonsense. No, it's a fact. It's astonishing to me how people are so dismissive of abiogenesis. They're so dismissive, and the obvious reason why is because You don't want it to be true. You would, a Christian would hate for life to, come about through natural processes. That would that would make it so much worse for the Christian to believe. So it's obvious why you hate it so much. But the evidence is overwhelming for life coming about naturally. That's the only way we know it could have come. Go outside and live. I was just outside. I'm not here all the time. I really am not. What do you think is the biggest problem with the education system? It's inefficient. It's kind of depressing. We're just piles of flesh. Well, when you first hear that, yes, it sounds depressing because you're coming from this perspective where you've been taught all your life that there's something inherently special about our existence as these flesh balls. But when you realize that when you take away all that fluff and you really it really seeps into your brain that this really is all there is, just matter in motion, right? That really seeps in, you begin to there's a point where you begin to appreciate things more because of that. There's a point where you reach where you're just like, holy shit, we are just matter in motion. We are fragile. We are in a delicate existence. We are finite. And when that really sinks in, you begin to really appreciate things that you could have never even thought of being able to appreciate before. So it's bittersweet, right? It's bittersweet coming this journey of leaving religion. It's a bittersweet one. Um, and that's how life is. But that's what makes it a great thing to be. That's why it makes life a great thing to experience. Do I do content full time? Yes, I am now able to do content full time, but I'm not going to. Is there a possibility that another universe exists beyond the universe as we know it? Um, yeah, it's possible. When we say universe, it doesn't, it's ambiguous. Does it mean the local space time, a bubble of space time? Does it mean the totality of all? It depends on what you mean by universe. It's a very ambiguous word. But yes, is it possible for there to be other configurations of space times that contain matter like ours? Yes. I don't see why that's impossible. Is the universe open or closed? It depends. It depends on your interpretation. We don't know. I tend to think that the universe there's a lot more than what we observe, right? I tend to think that there's a lot more out there than we observe. So I think that the universe is open. I don't think it's closed. If we all turn vegan, would the animals overpopulate? No. If we all went vegan, we would have a lot less animals, a lot less animals, because right now we're breeding so many, right? There's like this flow of animals being produced because of you guys, right? The animal eaters. So if we stop doing that, the number of animals would decrease. Now, some people say, well, you just want to make them go extinct. No. Well, it's not needed. Right? We could, if we wanted to one day, hold sanctuaries where animals live and procreate, in natural numbers. But would we want that to happen? Would that be better than just slowly allowing their genetically modified species to just diminish to nothing? You know, would it be better? That's a big question. Can I believe in ghosts without believing in God? Yes, of course you can believe in ghosts, but the problem is, what is a ghost? Right? When we ask these questions of what a ghost is, nobody seems to know what it is, and there's no way to know it falsifiably. You know, we can speculate, and I encourage you to speculate, but there's a limit to how much speculation we can do honestly. Now, when we talk about ghosts, people have this, we've normalized this, idea of ghost as being this, invisible, or this being who has a spirit, right? Who exists in some kind of different dimension, right? Um, what does that mean, and how do you verify these things? I've never seen good evidence of a ghost, although I have had experiences that I can't explain to this day. Okay. Um, it doesn't mean that I experienced a ghost. It doesn't mean I experienced anything more than just an experience that I can't explain. But there could be all kinds of stuff out there in the universe. There could be all kinds of mysteries waiting to be known. Uh, It's pretty much guaranteed. But we have to be cautious before we start believing in things until we have sufficient reason to. How do you know my reality is the same as yours? You're right, we don't know that. Right? We don't know that. I only have my experience. However, from what I have seen in my reality, it seems like yours is very similar to mine. Right? This is what the evidence can show. But again, we can never be absolutely certain about this. And that's why there are certain philosophical questions about this: solipsism, idealism, and all these things. Doesn't mathematics indicate intelligent design? No, not to me. Does non locality apply to objects at the macro scale? Yes, non locality applies to everything in the universe. We just don't know the full implications of non locality. Uh, we don't know the full picture. You should go out more. Yeah, here we go. Another hater. You want to collaborate on music? No, I'm good. I got my hands full right now. Okay. Interested in the NDE things being spoken about. Near death experiences are interesting, but they're not magic to me. I think that they're explained through hallucinations and brain fuck ups. Now, could there be something more? Sure, but there's no way to falsify it. There's no way to experiment with that. And until that day happens, why would anybody believe that you go somewhere when you die when there's no evidence? I don't know sounds like cope. Well, no, it's called honesty, right? When we say I don't know, that's the only honest way to say it. The moment you say, "Oh, I know what it is. It's God," or it's the next dimension. That's where you lost me, because you don't know. How do you know that? How do you demonstrate that? What's the evidence? It's really simple. Do you want there to be an afterlife, or do you want to rot? Well, look, I don't ask myself what I want. I don't ask myself, what can the universe do for me? I don't. I don't ask that. Um, what I do is make amends with the world I'm living in now. I deal with it, and I do the best I can. Right. I don't sit there and go, "Oh, I hope and wish and pray that one day I'll make it this place." And I just live my life and do the best I can now. And to me, it's been working fine. In fact, when you do this, when you when you just accept that we may not go anywhere, life becomes more thrilling, more mysterious. You begin When you begin to embrace the mystery, life becomes more cherishable and cherish it more. You know, because it's mysterious. It really is. And when you bask in that, instead of saying, "Oh no, all the mystery, I don't. It's just God. Trust me." When you do that, it sucks away all the beauty from things. It sucks away all the thrill. You know. But in my life, it's perfect. I'm very content with my life, and it feels like people are just scared to be there. I think a lot of people are scared to be content with how things are. We always look for the next best thing, right? We're always looking for, oh, what's next? What's next? But imagine if we were just content with the life now and we stopped asking these questions that are unanswerable. I'm not saying that asking these questions are wrong. What I'm saying is when we start normalizing the notion of asking questions just for the sake of asking them, then we might start asking bad questions. And that leads you down bad paths. How come we haven't found life on other planets? Are we just super lucky to be alive on Earth? So, we don't have the ability to look at other planets. Today, in today's world, we have no ability to discover life on any planet, not even Mars. It is impossible for us to discover life on Mars, our closest planet. We don't have the technology to discover any such life. Now, some of you guys are saying James Webb, and I agree. The James Webb is one of the most powerful telescopes, but it doesn't have the ability to verify life. It can detect biosignatures. It can say, hey, maybe there's life here, but it cannot verifiably say it. It cannot do with any significant degree of certainty. And that's the problem. We'll never know without going to other worlds if there's life. Now, we may be able to go to Mars or Enceladus or Titan or some of the moons of Saturn and discover life within our lifetimes. It's possible, but unlikely. How likely is it? We don't really know. I think it's unlikely, but it's not impossible. But the main point is we have barely looked out in the world for life yet. We've barely looked out there, right? You know, it's like looking in the ocean and going, oh, taking a cup from the ocean and saying, well, where's all the whales? There's no whales in the cup here. There must be no whales in the ocean. We haven't looked out much very far for them. Our sample size is just too small. If B theory is true, does that mean at one point in the universe I'm already dead? Yeah, so it's a very complicated question because in the according to the B theory, according to the block model. By the way, this isn't just there's different versions of the B theory, but under the block model, um, you would exist in this larger structure that you can slice up into pieces of time, and in those pieces of time, there's little slices of the block. In some of those slices, yes, what you would consider you would be dead. Um, but this block might extend forever. We don't know how large it is. Yeah, the comments are crazy. The block model isn't taken seriously. Okay, it is, but even if it wasn't, it doesn't make it false. We don't know what time is. Time is a very misunderstood thing. Molly would only detect life if it was above microscopic scale. What's MAHLI? Are you talking about one of the instruments on James Webb? Mars Chain Lens Imager is equipped on the rovers on Mars. Exactly. Even the instruments on Mars we have now would not be able to detect life that was macroscopic. That was microscopic. I mean, if we saw, imagine if we saw, walking beings on Mars. Of course, that would be life, evidence of life, but we wouldn't be able to see microscopic life. Yeah, if we found some Martians like walking around, that would be evidence of life right there for sure. Okay. Favorite entrepreneur? I like I like Steve Jobs. I think he was a crazy guy, just freaking crazy. Bill Nye's not an entrepreneur. Bill Nye invented science. Do you think you've won every atheism debate you've had? I do. If I lost, I'd be an atheist right now. If I thought I lost, I'd be atheist. Because look, and that's not saying much because atheists don't have to like defend much, right? You don't have to defend much. Caustic cooked you? Oh, okay, great. So can you give me the argument that defeated atheism? I'd love to see that. Thoughts on consciousness? It's just electricity. People gives consciousness such like a people think consciousness is so mysterious and it's completely unexplainable. And there's a few reasons why, right? First of all, we know why the Christians and the Muslims do this because they love to exploit the mystery of consciousness to make it seem like God fits in there. It doesn't. So we know why the religious ones do that. But a lot of people on the non-religious side still think that consciousness is mysterious because a part of us as human beings want to feel like somewhere in the mystery there's something else, right? There's some other world out there that we might be a part of, a bigger picture. And that's why a lot of spiritual people do this, right? They'll say, oh, consciousness, it connects us to the different realms. Um, Now, look, I'm not saying that that's bad. I think that every person, I think that it's perfectly fine to speculate, but I think we're just doing what we did with life 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, we thought that life had a force behind it. We called it the soul. Nobody believes in the soul today that's non religious, right? But eventually, I think the same is going to happen to the consciousness. I think we'll soon know enough about consciousness for that, kind of spirituality to fade away, you know. But we want to be special, right? As human beings, we want to be special so badly. We want to feel like we go on, we live on forever somehow, and we see our loved ones again, and we want that so bad. We're so bad that we are willing to make up things to be comfortable with that mystery. It's just amazing how we deal with this stuff as people. But it really is a beautiful thing on it. Really is a beautiful thing on its own. Religion, you know, it's the human expression. One of the most fundamental human expressions is religion. It really is a beautiful art. It is artistic. It's just a problem when you use this art to force it upon people and harm others, and that's when it gets that's when it goes wrong, you know. When you mix the religion with fear and power and desire, that's when it goes wrong. Why are we scared of animals that are smaller than us, such as bugs? Oh, because they can kill you. Literally, bugs can kill you. Some bugs can kill you. How do you get vitamin B12? B12 exists in every food. All foods have B12. The problem is that in today's world, we sanitize things. So all that B12 gets erased from our food supply. So the most common way to get B12 today is supplementation or fortified foods. That's how I get it. Everybody supplements with it. Even the cows you eat. If you think you're getting meat B12, no, even the cows you consume are getting B12 supplemented to them. So there's no escaping it. B12 comes from bacteria and soil. And today the food supply is heavily sanitized. Why do we need water just to live? Well, water goes into your bloodstream and it gets sent into your cells, the deepest part of your cells, which fuels your cells to make more cells, right? Water is a very important part of your cells and it is required to make new ones. What is the purpose of life? Well, even asking the question, what's the purpose, implies that you think there is one. You see what you're doing there? You're setting up the question so that you get a answer that you want. Well, maybe there is no purpose, right? Maybe there is no purpose. So asking what is our purpose is a non-answerable question on its own. Perhaps we don't have a purpose. It doesn't even make sense to talk about one. Maybe we just exist. Um, or maybe we make our own purpose. We can do things that are meaningful and purposeful in our lives that we don't have to sit and wait for, you know, and be told they're purposeful. We could just make it purposeful for ourselves. We deem it purposeful, and that's enough. right? My family, friends, communicating people. TikTok gives me purpose. You know, careers, jobs, relationships, um, all these things, traveling, you know, hobbies, sports, games, all these things give us purpose. You know, they're valuable to us. Do all particles share wave particle duality, or does it only apply to light? It applies to all particles. All particles are waves. Even you are a wave. Your body, your entire person is a wave. And this is one of the most incredible discoveries of quantum mechanics. Are you and Parker friends now? We always were friends and still are. I'm not going to hate somebody or have a, you know, a personal feud with them because, you know, they got wrecked in a debate by me. Were you raised religious? Yes, I was. Do I believe in karma? Well, this guy still owes me like $100 from like 10 years ago, so I don't think he's ever gonna give it back to me. So I don't think I got any karma from that, any good karma from that. Do I believe in string theory? I don't believe in things that I cannot demonstrate to be true. But it is a plausible hypothesis, yes, that attempts to explain quantum mechanics combined with relativity. Are you and Rami friends? I was never friends with him. I think he's a slime ball. How many have you helped deconstruct? I don't know. Mortal realism is a fairy tale. Nobody knows if it's true or false. You're literally my cousin. What do you mean? Who are you? Who are you? You're not my cousin. You said it was true yesterday. I never said it was true. It's a possibility. I never said it is necessarily true. All possible worlds are actualized. That could be the case, yes, or it may not be the case. How did photons arise? They didn't arise. They didn't just one day magically go poof. I'm a photon. You lost credibility by switching views. When did I ever switch views? I don't know why you are saying this. I never switched views. I never necessarily held to any particular view. Look, if the theist gets to sit there and say, you know, oh, maybe this god does this, and maybe this thing's, well, why can't I do that? Why can't I speculate? Look, nobody knows the answer, especially not the theist, right? So let's stop pretending as if, oh, the theist has the upper hand because they have an idea that sounds good. That's all they got is an idea that sounds good to some people. Doesn't make it true. Atheist worldview, I don't know. It's not a worldview. There's no such thing as a worldview under atheism. It's not a worldview. Are you bi? No. I'm not LGBT. Have I ever been religious? Yes. The worldview of atheism is the world has no God. That's not a worldview. That's not even my belief, right? What is God? God is just a word. It doesn't mean anything, right? It's like saying your worldview is one that doesn't believe in snuffleupagus. Like, what's that even mean? It's just a word. It's not a worldview. Do you get it now? Right? Do you think uh, a schmorphalorphism is a worldview? Because I don't believe in schmorphalorpha. No, it's not a worldview. What do I do for fun besides this? Your mom. Stop asking me where do photons come from. I don't know where they come from. Schmorphalorphism is not equal to theism. It is. Theism is just as credible as Snuffleupagism. It's just as credible. It's just another being that does shit with magic. Right? It's the same shit. Theism has no explanatory power, it has no predictive power, it has no coherency at all. It's completely incoherent to me. Why do two black holes colliding cause gravitational waves? Everything colliding with mass causes gravitational waves. It's just that there's very low frequency. They're very low, not frequency, they're very low powered. The waves are very long. But we exist in a world where gravity, space and time itself, can ripple. Space and time is flexible, it's flimsy, it's mendable. And because of this, mass can warp it, right? It can warp space time and it can cause ripples of this. It's like a wave, right? We can view space and time as like this ocean that we exist within. How do we identify those waves? Well, there are certain detectors, uh, LIGO. It's called LIGO detector, and they detect very, very slight waves from black holes and large events out there in the universe. Pulsars also pulsate. They spin very quickly and they generate these really, really consistent gravitational waves. And that's why we look for those. But yeah, I mean, black hole collisions happen sometimes, and we can see waves from them. Why do I believe in aliens? I don't believe in aliens. I just don't see why they couldn't exist. I mean, we know that life is possible on our planet, so why can't life be possible on other planets? How do gravitational waves provide evidence for existence of black holes? Well, when we analyze these particular waves, we find certain patterns in them that we correlate to black holes. We also can infer black holes exist through other methods, right? So when we combine these things together, we have a great case for why black holes exist and how to find them in the future. Yeah, I gotta change my bio. My bio was I did that for one live, and then I forgot to. I'm too lazy to change it. What did the host adhere to law of non-contradiction? What are you talking about? Do I believe in intelligent life on other planets? I don't believe on intelligent life on our planet, so I don't know if it's possible. No, I think that this is pure speculation, but I think that intelligent life is rare, but it's not uncommon. I think that it exists probably several times in our galaxy. But the problem is that there's a threshold, right? There's a certain threshold that these intelligent life forms have to reach until they get to the ability that they would be able to communicate with other intelligent civilizations. I suspect that no other civilization has reached that point yet, such that they can communicate with us, at least effectively. I mean, there could be beings that are smarter than us, but they're just not going to talk to us. Why would you talk to us if we're these little microbes walking around, right? Would you talk to a microbe? No, it's just not worth your time. So perhaps even scarier than intelligent beings like us is the fact that there could be intelligent beings even more intelligent than us, beyond recognition, literally in every way. We wouldn't be able to recognize their presence, even if they're right in front of our faces. Did I see the three body problem? No, I didn't. I heard it's terrible, so I'm not going to watch it. It looked boring from what I saw from the trailer, so I'm just like, yeah, stupid. Look, when I look at a movie, when I look at a trailer, it has to either captivate me or maybe question things, or I'm not going to watch it, right? I need to be enthralled. I'm just not going to sit there and watch a boring thing. How do I explain rib cages protecting something external? What? Evolution. Evolution explains why we have rib cages. It explains why we have skeletal structure. Survival mechanism. The rib cages protects your stomach, right? Your very important stomach and organs near your stomach, your liver, things like that. It protects all that shit. Very important thing to protect yourself from. If a tree falls in the woods with no one to hear it, did it make a sound? Um, well, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very philosophical question. I think yes. Some people think no. The rib cage has no knowledge or awareness of the heart. It doesn't need awareness to evolve. Evolution happens regardless if you're intelligent or not, regardless if you know about it or not. It's just a purely deterministic process. And I'm sorry you can't grasp that. But yes, we could live in a determined world where things just fucking are. Hi, Rena. You're new to this live. What's going on? Well, we're just talking about, existential questions about existence. Things just are. It's not an epistemological transition of knowledge in reality. It is, right? We can say that things are necessary or brute facts. There's no explanation. Do you think God just is? Do you think something else explains God? I don't think so. I think you would just say God just is, right? So if you can say that for God, why can't I say that for the universe? Theists are typically so uncharitable when it comes to this stuff, right? They just don't want to grant. They grant things for their view that they will never grant for the opposing view, but analogously, they're the same. It's very, very sad. Will limb generation be possible for us in the future? Yes. In the future, you will be able to grow limbs, any limb on your body. Any limb on your body will be able to be grown. Because if you think about it, all you're doing is altering your DNA, which codes for every part of your body. So in the future, you'll be able to alter any part of your body. Organs. We can grow organs in the future. We can grow new hearts, new lungs, new anything. Why did God have to create millions of black holes and galaxies? Yeah, that's a good question, right? If God wanted us to exist and us only, if we were so special in this grand universe, why are there so many damn other galaxies out there? Why? Why so many galaxies? What are they gonna do? They glorify God. Well, look how ad hoc that is. Oh yeah, they glorify God. Does cancer glorify God too? Is that why he made cancer? And is that why he made earthquakes and supernova explosions? And oh, glorifies God. How about all the other things that are evil, right? It makes no sense to me. It makes way more sense to just say, "Fuck, we're here for one out of a billion. That's it. We're just another one out of a billion others." Instead of trying to make excuses for why God wants to glorify himself because he's lonely. He Why does he need to be glorified? He's fucking God, right? I'm God. I'm perfect. But let me go ahead and create all these galaxies so I can be happier. Okay. With quantum entanglement, can you send information faster than light? No. Quantum entanglement is not travel. It's not information communication faster than light. It is not. It's a very difficult thing to explain, but two particles that are entangled pairs are their wave functions mend together such that they become the same thing. So that's why it seems like if you take these two particles and spread them apart across the universe, it seems like when you change one here, the other instantaneously changes, seemingly faster than light, but that's not what's happening. It's actually the case that these two particles are actually the same object. And just as if I was here in my room moving one side of my hand, the other side automatically changes. The same applies to those particles no matter how far apart they are. So we can treat those two particles as if they were one. And that's why it seems like if one changes, the other instantaneously changes. They're actually the same thing. And that's what explains the weird, spooky action. And that's what non-locality means. That's exactly what non-locality means. It means that the universe, something that happens on this side of the universe, is connected to the other side of the universe. In other words, we are part of that. There's some part of this universe that is the same thing as the other side. Um, and that's creepy. So, go to bed. You know who I'm talking about. You know who you are. Can your mom be entangled? Yes, I'm entangled with your mom. Thoughts on mosquito? Thank you, Sabi. Thank you. What's a weird dream you had? I used to have a lot of dreams when I was like floating in the air, and you know how like when you swim, you like move up. I was able to do that in the air. Like I was able to like do this and just move up and like hover around my neighborhood. And that was a fun dream. I want to do that. I want to do that every night. Why do we have dreams? Um, your brain has different states. There's different states to your brain. There's something called a REM state, where certain parts of your brain are more active than others. Specifically, your auditory cortex, your visual cortex, those are more active, giving you sounds and visions during your sleep. Um, and the reason why dreams feel so real sometimes is because your reality comes from your brain in the first place, not some kind of weird spiritual way. What I'm saying is your map of the world, right? Your sounds, the things you hear, the things you see, the things you think, they're coming from your brain. You don't hear with your ears. Your ears just filter in signals from the outside world, but the signals then hit your neurons in your ear, your eardrum. There are neurons in your eardrum. Those neurons then change, they send signals to the brain, the auditory cortex, and then bam, you hear sound. Same with your eyes. You don't see with your eyes, right? When I look around the world, I'm not seeing with my actual eyes. I'm seeing with my brain. My brain is generating the visuals I see via my visual cortex. The light waves just go into my eye. My light filters that light, right, through the cones and rods, and it filters the light into my brain, which then my brain generates this and processes this world into a map. And that's it. That's what we see. All of our spatial and temporal notions of time, um, bro, we literally have a stalker in my life. Go away. Stop stalking me. It's fucking weird. Anyway, so yeah, our brains generate everything we see and hear and think and smell, even smell. Right? Smells are just molecules in the air. Though those molecules hit certain parts of the nose, the neurons in your nose, the neurons send signals to the brain, and now you can smell things through your brain. So that's why dreams feel so uh, real, because your brain is what keeps those memories in, and that is generally what is giving you the sense of experience. Do you want to make a surgery to fix how light goes in blind people's eyes? Yeah, blindness is completely curable. We can cure blindness very easily. You know, this is astounding that we now have the ability to, with biotechnology, change our bodies for the better, right? So if you if you realize this, if you see the progress that's happening about technology, you realize that later, sooner or later, we're going to be able to merge with technology in our bodies. We're going to be able to become kind of like cyborgs. you know, we're not going to be biological in the future. We're going to be mechanical. We already are cyborgs in a way, right? We're always on our phones, computers. You know, we're in the first steps of becoming a cyborg. But yeah, we live in a very special time, and I'm very happy to be alive. People take it for granted all the time. We think this is we're so focused on the other issues happening in the world today that we think that today is such a bad time. It's not. It's one of the best times ever to be alive. Um, I just wish more people saw that. I really do. I really wish people weren't so damn pessimistic. It really is sad. Mm. But I'm very grateful to be here, and I think that we live in a fantastic time to be alive. You know, I just want to spread optimism. I really do. That's really why. That's all I want to do, if I could. I miss the times when people were optimistic. The general attitude was optimism. I miss that time. You should go back to it. But a lot of people see like we're so exposed to things like the war in Palestine, right? We're so exposed to like, a lot of violence in the world. But what people don't realize is the bigger picture that today's world is the safest time to be a human, the safest time, the most abundant time. Hmm. So, yeah, Sway, thank you for getting people in the comments. Appreciate your support. It needs progress. Absolutely, it needs progress. I never said we're perfect. What I'm saying is we made a lot of fucking progress so far. We have. You can't deny that. That today we have more rights than ever before, more abilities, more opportunities, more resources than ever before. You know, that's something to be proud of. So.